A picture is worth 1,000 words. Our focus is on analytics and not news stories. This channel is apolitical, prioritizing probabilities in the stock market. Regardless of the headlines, our aim is to profit through data-driven insights. Political affiliations aside, our goal remains the same, empowering you with the market analysis for informed decisions. I am not a Republican. I am not a Democrat. I am here to guide you through a process on how to make money in the stock market. There are many horrible events happening around the world, but still, this channel cannot focus on listening to news stories and claiming it will be the end of the world. Just recently, you heard the end of the world with COVID. You also heard the end of the world when Russia invaded Ukraine, and that's still going on today. I have lived through many world news events, some seeing firsthand, and it's never how it's reported. If you speak to people in Ukraine, you speak to people in Israel, you speak to people in Iran, a lot of the stories we are getting is different. Thus saying that, I will be focusing on the analytics and not paying attention to what they say on the news. I started this video off with a quote: "A picture is worth 1,000 words." From October of last year till now, April, we have not had a chance to make profitable opportunities in the VIX and the VXN. With the recent political events happening now, we are at extreme fear. The highest I believe this extreme fear can go is 22, but I will build a case that in the next 1 or 2 days, by shorting into the VIX, which works opposite the market. So if you do not want to do futures contracts, you're buying the spiders or the QQQs and using the VIX as one of your weight of evidence. Take a look at this picture here. From October, there was no fear. Everything was going good. Everything was going good. And then we started to have a little bit of a sell-off. And with news events the last few days and what's been going on around the world, we have come to what we call extreme fear on a 50-day moving average. I can do something with this to profit. This video is called No Emotion, Not the End of the World. These are horrible events to real people. These are horrible things happening to women, children of all nationalities, of all ages. But again, my job is when I see levels of extreme fear to make a prediction to profit in this market. Disclaimer, the information provided on our channel is for education and informational purposes only and is not intended to be a substitute for professional financial advice. You must protect your capital by all means. The most powerful thing that you can do is to build your own system, is to take certain indicators that you believe can build you a structured framework or a set of rules that guide your decision-making process. You must be consistent and disciplined in your investment choices on predetermined criteria. The VIX has not worked very well for the last 6 months, but a year and a half ago, the VIX had worked very well for about 1 year with great profits. And we are hoping for more extreme volatility of the VIX and the VXN going up and down. If you look at right now, the VIX and the VXN are at recent extreme levels of bullishness. There is a lot of fear in the market dependent on what will happen geopolitically. Our recommendation for the S&P 500, not only because of the VIX, but because of other factors, but including the VIX, we are short-term bullish, intermediate term, short-term, and long-term. And as a VIX in itself, using the opposite, we think the VIX will be bullish for the spiders. So we will be shorting into the VIX. Let's just take a look over here. Q1 2023, the VIX saw at 28. I think the top we'll see in the next 1 or 2 days, if we get to those levels, will be 22. So if you position yourself, the worst case scenario, you're looking at 22. How close do you think the VIX in the next 1 or 2 days will get to 22? I don't think we're going to get that close. Netflix comes out on Wednesday, which could drive the market and the fearfulness. I still think that we could see the VIX a little bit higher and the market a little bit lower. So it's positioning yourself in there. But for the first time in a long time, we are able to use the VIX as a powerful indicator and also as an instrument to profit. We are putting in for the short-term initial strong bearish recommendation, which is a bullish for the market, crossing and closing above 16 and rallies to 1850 to 21. We will see how today's market goes. But again, if a picture tells you 1,000 words, we could stay 4 or 5 days at this levels and then drop because there's way too much fear inside this market. What is problematic is over the weekend, 80% of the S&P 500 securities are in a downtrend, and so is the NASDAQ, 77% as of today. But obviously, with such a high VIX for the short term and intermediate term, we would have seen some type of sell-off. Our short-term indicator is neutral as we see one more day where it could touch 100. This is an RSI indicator, and we have maneuvered the mathematics to make this short term. But if you go to our medium term and long term indicators, we are topping out. What has worked a year and a half ago very well was the components. And the NASDAQ is screaming a 2454 bullish, and we believe one more day of a sell-off, and we will have all the components of the overbought, oversold at extreme levels to buy. Remember, the VIX can be traded through futures contracts and exchange-traded funds, ETFs, and exchange-traded notes, ETNs. You can also trade the VIX and use that as an indicator with the spiders and the QQQs. The put call options is at a fear level. I see a little bit more room on top, but thus saying that, it's still a great opportunity. The AA market sentiment, even though it has improved a little bit, it is still very bearish, where many of the financial advisors are still bullish. But what has worked for us very well is the RIDEX funds, where we're seeing very low levels, and we will weight this weight of evidence heavy that this market will go up and to short into the VIX. Finally, stock price strength is neutral. So what picture are we painting for you today? Is there extreme fear in the stock market based off geopolitical events? Yes. Could this market sell off a little bit more? Yes. Will we have at least a pop once we get this extreme fear? I believe so. I believe there will be no capitulation where we start the next bear market. We will continue in a selective buying approach of companies that are uptrending. And what has worked very well for a year and 3 months, our same recommendation, buy on the pullbacks, but this time we're using market volatility to help us guide us for the right entry point. You know the catchphrase, study it, analyze it, adapt it. Peace.